Welcome to this introductory video on the building block improvisation method, a method of improvising that I've devised over the years in my own use with students. I find that it addresses the two great challenges of improvisation, and those are, first of all, how do I play the right note at the right time? Practice! No, there's more to it than that. Well, let me start with one thing that you should not do. Try to avoid using the same scale over the whole song. Now, I know this is how most people start to learn to improvise, using the minor pentatonic scale, for example, the old. Which works great to get started, but the problem is that what do you do when you get to more complicated material? If you've never developed the ability to switch scales or arpeggios, then you're in big trouble. A lot of the problem is just keeping track of where you are in the song, and you never develop that ability by using one scale. Also, what happens is that all your solos start to sound the same, so that can be a problem too. Well, with that in mind, if you're going to use more than one scale or arpeggio, how do I switch smoothly between scales and arpeggios? First of all, it's hard to switch. Let's say you had 4 different patterns on the guitar neck and you needed to switch between them smoothly. Well, that's a lot of information. How are you going to do it? So the building block method deals with both of these challenges. And also, in addition to that, it will help you keep your solos smooth. A lot of people will be playing one arpeggio and then they'll go to another one and they won't be able to keep going where they are, so they'll have to drop down to and start at the root all the time, and that can be a big problem too. So the building block method deals with both of those. Alright, before we dive into the concepts for the building block method for improvisation, I wanted to choose a song for which to work on. I think that it makes a lot more sense when you're using actual music, and I wanted to introduce the materials we'll be using. So I've chosen to use the Super Scale Trainer, which is a tool I've devised to help you learn scales and arpeggios. This is available at guitargames.net. So if you want to follow along, go ahead and check it out. There's a free trial there too. You'll go to Basic, pick preferred view. It'll be guitar. The activity we're going to start with is reference. Position 5, and we'll do all 6 strings. Choose songs and blues in C, which comes pre-installed, and then hit start. Now, the first arpeggio we're going to use is going to be the C7 arpeggio, and this is going to be again for the blues in C. Has all these notes. Don't worry, you don't have to learn them all right now. I just want to introduce them. The next one will be the F7. We go back to C, the G7, F7, C7, and finally the G7 again. Some of you might recognize this as the chords that are used for the 12-bar blues, and you would be correct. Now, the way to learn these is to first start by learning mentally. Now, this is the first step. Learn the arpeggios mentally. The second part is don't bite off more than you can chew. Start with very small materials. So we're going to use the scale trainer again. Guitar view. This time we're going to do game mode, and we're going to change the strings over here so that we just have 1-to-1. And what you'll see is game mode will come up, and only this part of the guitar neck is available to us. We're going to do the C7 arpeggio, and it only has 2 notes that are on that string, so we'll learn those. If you didn't know that, you can always click Show Answers. The F7, let's say, I don't know what those are. There they are. A, C. Then back to the C7. So I'm going through and I'm finding these notes from within the arpeggios, and just for the one string. One other thing you can do if you're saying, well, heck, I don't know any of these, is you can show the answers and then print them out. So you could have a C7 printed out, F7, G7, all the same. All right, the next thing, once you've learned it mentally, is to go through and play those. So again, we're going to use a 1-to-1. This time we're going to do play along mode, still in the blues in C. And what you'll see this time are some playback controls and the notes that you need to play. Now, what you'll do is start with very simple, slow speed, 92, and leave the direction on up, just one repeat, no pattern, no funny business, and click on play. And what you'll see is it'll count it off, and it'll play those notes, and it'll cycle through all of the arpeggios necessary for the blues in C. Let's go ahead and do that. And on it goes. So that will then familiarize your fingers, after you've got your brain wrapped around this very small sections in the arpeggios. The next thing to do is to use them in improvising. Now, in order to practice this one string's worth of these arpeggios, I would suggest using a play along, and we put together one for free that's also on YouTube, and it's called the Bouncing Ball Play Along Blues in C, and you can find it pretty easily. It's on the same channel as this video. The advantage to the Bouncing Ball Play Along is that it plays the blues in C, and there's a little bouncing ball that follows along and shows you which chord you're on. So let's give that a try, and I'm only going to use one string to improvise on. And first I'll just play it real simple, and then I'll add some more rhythms and stuff, and you'll see how amazing a solo you can do with one string.